Hi everyone, and we are starting with chapter 8, that is investment decision making. So let me just make it full screen. So in this chapter we are going to discuss as a finance manager, and you're a finance manager and you have different options of projects. So you can make some investments into those projects and those projects will give certain returns to you. So amongst different options, which project to take? That's the whole chapter about. So as a finance manager, when you take investment decisions, your marketing guy comes in, he says, I need X amount of money, I will generate so much returns. Or your operation guy comes in, he says, I want to increase the efficiency, I want a new machinery, this requires so much money, this will give me so much returns. So how do you make those decisions? Because to be very honest, the funds are not infinite. For any company has limited amount of capital. From that limited amount of capital, you have to make the best decision possible. So how do you make those decisions is the crux of this chapter. So we are going to discuss the NPV rule, which is very important. Then how to use NPV rule. Then what are the different other ways like IRR and other ways to decide between NPV rules. We'll decide between how to choose projects when multiple projects are available. Then choosing among projects when resources are limited, and then we'll put it all together. So learning objective for this chapter is define and use NPV rule to make investment decisions, understand alternative decisions and their drawbacks, choose between mutually exclusive alternatives, rank projects when the company resources are limited so that it cannot take all positive NPV projects. So let's start. So what is NPV rule? So I'll open an Excel and explain it to you, and then we'll go through the slides. So NPV rule is simple. So NPV rule says depending on the risk of project, that is given a discount rate, you should accept a project if present value of benefits is greater than present value of costs. So what is the NPV rule? NPV rule says given the risk of the business, given the risk of the project, if the project is risky, you would need higher returns to compensate you for that. If project is less risky, you would require lower returns to compensate for that, right? Given the risk of the project, if benefit of the project, if present value of benefits of the project is greater than present value of cost of the project, you accept the project, otherwise you reject it. So let's see. So let us assume that you are manager of Tesla, okay, and currently Tesla spends $0 on marketing. It doesn't spend anything on marketing. It doesn't have any marketing budget. So the advertising guy in Tesla comes up to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk refers him to the CFO, because all the investment decisions are made by CFOs. So CFO has this project in front of him from the marketing guy. So marketing guy is asking for, let's say, $100 million. Okay, so this is the cost of the marketing campaign, and he estimates that if you spend $100 million for the next 5 years, Tesla could see a bump of $30 million in sales. $30 million in sales each year. Okay, so $100 million is the cost. The benefits are benefits are as follows: 30, 30, 30, 30 and 30. So the cost of this marketing campaign is going to be 100 million. The benefits are 30, 30, 30. Now as a CFO, you look at this project and say that there is a risk, like $100 million I can spend on something else. So rather than spending on something else, I have to divert it to marketing. So there is a risk of this project, but this project has less risk as compared to others. So let's say it has a risk of 12%. So the discount rate that you are factoring in or you're considering is 12%. The required rate is 12%. How do you get this rate? This rate is decided. It's not, there is no formula for that. This rate is decided looking at the risk of the project. So it is kind of a hunch. Okay. So should I accept this project or should I not? So how to decide? So first of all, you always create an NPV profile. Okay. You always create an NPV profile. What is an NPV profile? It is a cash flow profile. So 0 is when investment occurs generally, but it may not. Investment may occur anytime. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It's a 5-year project. Excuse me. It's a 5-year project. Okay. Then we'll have cash outflows. All our cash outflows are investments. And there are cash inflows. Okay. We know cash outflow is $100 million. It is an outflow, so it should have negative sign. Then cash inflows are 30 million, 30 million, 30 million, 30 million and 30 million. Positive sign. Why positive? Because these are inflows. These are benefits from the project. The sales are going up. So this is a benefit. Okay. So how would you decide? So we need to calculate present value of outflows, that is cost. We need to calculate present value of inflows, that is these inflows. So how to do that? So we need to calculate present value of outflow and present value of inflow. Okay. Present value of outflow, it is a happening right now, time 0. So present value, you don't have to discount. It is 100 itself because the outflow is happening right away. Present value of inflow is, you need to calculate that. So PV rate, I'm clicking the FX, present value, rate of return 12%. Cash outflow is happening in year 1. So N per 1, payments 0. Value is FV, that is 30. Okay. So 26 is the value of cash flow happening at the year 1 end. Same way you will calculate present value for all these cash flows. So rate 12%. N per 2 now. Okay, payment 0, future value 30, type doesn't matter. Okay, next present value, rate 12%, cost of capital, N per 3, payments 0, value 30, PV rate 12%, N per 4, payments 0, value 30, and finally PV rate 12%, N per 5, payment 0, future value 30, type doesn't matter. So 17. So we calculated present value, and take a pause if you need to and calculate this on your own. So present value, present value, present value, add them up. Okay, it comes to 108, right? So what is the net present value? NPV. NPV is nothing but present value of benefits minus present value of cost. So what is present value of benefit? It is 108.14. We calculated that 108.14, which is inflows. Present values is of inflows. Adding all them up, each one of them, minus present value of cost 100. So what is NPV? NPV is 8 million. So the present value of total benefit from this project is $8 million. So should you accept this project? Yes. If NPV is positive, we accept the project. If NPV is negative, we reject the project. If you have 2 or more projects, you will choose the highest NPV. So what is the decision? Decision rule is accept the project if NPV, net present value, which is nothing but present value of benefits minus present value of cost, is positive, and if 2 or more projects are there, accept the project of for highest NPV. Okay, so this is the decision rule. If only one project is there, accept the project if NPV is positive. If 2 or more projects are given to you, then accept the project that has highest NPV. Once again, how to do NPV? Step 1, create an NPV profile, right? What is an NPV profile or NPV cash flow profile? So 0 to time period, cash inflows, cash inflow, cash outflows, cash inflow. Okay. Calculate present value of cash outflows. Calculate present value of cash inflows. Okay. Then calculate NPV. So NP means add everything up. So this is present value of cash inflow. Add everything up. So present value of benefits, which is 108 minus present value of cost, gives you NPV. Now there should be an easier way to do it. So there is an easier way to do it. So imagine these cash flows are given to you. Is there any way you can directly calculate NPV? So there is a way in which you can directly calculate NPV. So we can present value of outflows, we know, which is 100. Okay. Present value of inflows, instead of discounting each and every cash flow, we can use a simpler method. So simpler method is the NPV function. So equals to NPV, bracket open, click on FX, equals to NPV, net present value function, bracket open, click on FX, rate of return 12%. Now values 32 means first year 30 to last year 5th year 30. So I'm just dragging it. I'm clicking on the first cell and then dragging it down. So present value of inflows is 108. NPV is simple. NPV is 108 minus 100. So $8. So let's do one more and then we can move on using the easy method. So assume you are handling a company of GM, right? Your operations or your research manager comes in, R&D manager comes in, you are the CFO for GM, and your R&D manager comes in and he gives you a project of launching robo taxis in LA. The project is to launch robo taxis in LA, and he's saying the cost of the project is, let's say, $200 million. Okay, and benefits are as follows. So he gives you a benefit profile. It's a 10-year project. So he says initially the benefits will be lower, so 20 million each for the next 3 years. Then it will be 25 million for next 3 years, and then it will bump up to 30 million, and last year it will be 50 million. Okay, and then the project has to be retired. It will require additional spending from here on, so the project needs to be retired. So this is the benefit profile. Okay, he is asking you, should you undertake this project? Should GM undertake this project? General Motors, should it undertake this project? Now how do you decide? First of all, you are the CFO. You look at the risk of this total proposition. So robo taxis are relatively unknown right now. So you say it is a risky project. So my cost of capital for this project is going to be 15%. Considering the risk, I need to raise capital, but the cost of capital is 15%. So you decided that. Then next you create the NPV cash flow profile. So NPV cash flow profile. Okay, so starts with 0. Okay, cash outflow and cash inflow. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, cash outflow is 200. Cash inflow is, it starts with year 1, so 20 million, and whatever is given in the benefit profile. Okay, so you know cash outflow, you know cash inflow. You need to find out present value of outflow, then present value of inflow, and then net present value. Present value of outflow, it's 200 million. Present value of inflow, you need to calculate. We will use the NPV function, net present value. Rate of return, 15%. Values, so I'm going to drag it. So start with 20, drag it down. Okay, start with 20, drag it down. So present value of inflows is 125 million. So NPV is benefits minus, so present value of benefits, that is inflows, minus present value of cost. So NPV comes out to be negative. So should you accept this project? So answer is no. No, GM should not undertake this project. Why? Because NPV is negative. NPV is negative. Okay. So let's do one more. Let's see, let's consider your Apple and you're looking at Apple Glass. again your R&D team comes in and says that they need $1 billion to make Apple Glass, or let's say $500 million to create Apple Glass. So cost of this project is 500 million. The benefits will occur for the next 10 years. Okay, and the benefits would be $50 million in the first 2 years as the project kicks in, $75 million later for 4 years, and $100 million in the last 4 years. Now, based on the risk of this project, you see that cost of financing or discount rate is 14% for you. It is 14% for you. So should you undertake this project or not? So let's do that. So we create a cash flow profile. So NPV cash flow profile. How to do that? NPV cash flow profile starts with 0, 1, 2 till 10 years. Okay. Then we have present value of outflows, that is 500 million. Then we have present value of inflows, in which you know it is 50, so on and so forth. Okay, so sorry, this is inflow, not present value. This is inflow, this is outflow, cash outflow. We need to calculate present values, so PV and PV. PV of outflows, it's happening at time 0, so it is 500. PV of inflows, we need to calculate that, so equals to NPV, net present value. Okay, interest rate 14%, values zero to 10, values 0 to 10, so it is 383. So benefits are 383, PV is 500. So NPV becomes, NPV is 383 minus 500. So NPV is again negative. So you would reject the project. So let's do one thing. Let's see what would be NPVs if the rate of financing changes. So I'm calculating NPVs, present values, if different rates of financing are there. Okay, so rate. So we know that 14%, this is the NPV. Okay, so let's do 13%, 12%, 10%, sorry, 11%, 10%, 9%, 8%, 7%. So let's go lower 7, 15%, 16%, and 17%. So what are we doing? We are assuming that cost of financing can change. We can get money at a lower rate. So what would be impact on NPV of cost of financing? So NPV, you know, this is for 14%. So present value will keep on changing. So let's calculate present value depending on different rates. So here the present value depending on 13% will be net present value NPV. FX rate is 13%. Cash flows is this one. So NPV will be 400 minus 500. So NPV is still negative. Same way, let's calculate NPV, net present value of these inflows at 12%. Then 11%. We're calculating present value of cash inflows at different rates. Okay. Sorry. Rate and values. NPV, rate and values. So I'm just making these constant so that I can drag. Okay, so these are NPVs, means these are present values of inflows. This was present value of outflow and this was present value of inflow. Okay, these were different rates. So what we did, we calculated present value of inflows at different interest rates, starting from 14 till 7 and then 15, 16 and 17. So net present value is always inflow minus outflow. So if you make the outflows constant, that's not changing, and drag this down. So this is your NPV profile. So when does the NPV turn positive? It turns positive somewhere between 9% and 8%. So if you graph it out, so let's create a graph. So I'm doing a line chart. Let's do a 2D chart. Okay, so if you graph this out, it looks something like this. So we'll change it a bit. Yeah. Okay, so if you graph it out, your net present value changes as per the interest rate. At 14% it is negative 116 million. So you lose money if you take on this project, so you will not take on the project. 13% you will not take on the project, 12% you will not take on the project, 11% you will not take on the project, 10% no, because it is negative in this quarter, right? Then it is positive in this way, so you will take on the project if in between, so it crosses 0 somewhere in between 9 and 8, right? So you will take on the project anything like when the interest rate is below 9%. So this is how you draw a chart. So we'll do one more and then discuss it. Okay, so let's do one more problem and then discuss how to create it. So pay attention again. Okay, so let us say you are looking at launching the COVID-19 vaccine. Now the cost for launching this vaccine is going to be $500 million. But the whole world is going to buy from you. So the benefit is going to be as follows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 years everyone will be immunized. So initially the benefit will be 200 million. Everyone would want it. Then 180 million. Then let's say 170 million, 150 million and 100 million. Okay. So this is the benefit profile. Initially the benefit will be high. You can sell it at a higher price, but other vaccines will come in. So that will decrease the profit margins for you. So benefit will go down. So I want you to create chart looking at different cost of financing. So base cost of financing we are looking at is, let's say, 13%. Okay, I want you to create a chart starting with 9%, 10, 11, 12 and 13. Okay, and 14, 15, 16. So we want a chart what would be NPVs at different interest rates. So how to solve this? So first things first, always we create an NPV cash flow profile. So NPV cash flow profile is inflows. First we note down years. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we note down outflows. Outflow is 500 million. Then we note down inflows. Inflows is 200 million, 180 million, 170 million, 150 million and 100 million. Okay, so you know the outflows, you know the inflows, you have to calculate present values of outflow. So PV outflow and PV inflow. So present value is 500 million. The reason you don't have to discount it, it is happening at time 0. There would be cases when it doesn't happen at time 0. So you may have outflows in between too. So you have to calculate it. Okay. And inflows is net present value. Okay. Rates are different. So let's have a rate profile, then calculate it. So rates that they have given is from 9% to 16%. This is 11% and 12% sign. So 9, 15 and 16. These are the different rates that are given to you. So you want to calculate present value of inflows considering different rates and then NPV. NPV is nothing but PV benefit, that is PV inflow minus PV outflow. Okay, so let's calculate that. So present value, rate is 9%, values are these, so we are going to drag them 200 to 100. So NPV would be benefit minus cost, so 137. Then NPV, rate is 10%, values are 200 to 100. Then NPV, rate is 11%, values are 200 to 100. And I'm making this constant so that I can drag it. Okay, so these are NPVs. Let's go little higher, 17%, 18%, 19%, and 20%, so that we it's not going negative, so I'm going even higher. Okay, and then we calculate NPV, inflows minus outflows. So this is your NPV profile. So you have to make constant, so inflows minus outflows, and then drag it. So this is your NPV profile. At 9% you make 137 million if you finance this project using 9%. But as the financing cost increases, the NPV goes on falling and eventually it turns into negative. Whenever NPV is negative, we do not accept it. When NPV is positive, we accept it. Now if you chart it, I'm hiding this so that I can chart. So for charting, you need to have always two columns, rates and NPVs. Select these, go to insert, okay, go to a line chart, we need line chart. Okay, do this. I'll put the labels on. So we need data labels so that it's understandable, and access titles, we don't need access titles, we know what they are. Okay, so I'm going to zoom this chart that we have just drawn, and then we can discuss this. Okay, so what is happening, this blue line is rates, 9%, 10%, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 to 22, and this gray line is NPV, net present value. So if you see, as the rate of financing increases, the NPV goes down. So 137 million to 16 million loss. So it keeps on going down. So first thing's important, like as the cost of financing increases, the NPV goes down, the net present value goes down. Now, if you see, there is a rate, right? There is this point on graph, right, where NPV turns negative, or there is a rate where the NPV is 0. So if you see on this graph, somewhere between 20 and 21%, somewhere between 20 and 21%, there is this point. That point, NPV of this project is 0. Net present value is 0. That is present value of outflows equals present value of inflows. So that point where NPV is 0 is called as IRR, internal rate of return. So that point where NPV is 0 for the project is called as internal rate of return. Okay. Now how to find this internal rate of return? For finding out internal rate of return, so I'll just shrink this one. For finding out internal rate of return, we combine inflows and outflows. Okay. Outflow is negative, inflow is positive. So outflow of 500, inflow of 200. So we combine inflows and outflows. Okay. So 500 outflow, 200 inflow, 180 outflow, 170 outflow, 150 outflow, and 100 outflow. So we combine inflows and outflows and then use an Excel function called as IRR, internal rate of return. Okay, if you click on FX, it will give you value. So click on the first column and then drag it down until you cover the whole cell and click on OK. So internal rate of return is 20.26. What does this mean? At the rate 20.26, this project's NPV becomes 0. So inflows and outflows are same. Or if this project is generating higher than 20.26, you should accept it. If it is generating less than 20.26, you should reject it. So once again, what is IRR? IRR is rate of return at which the NPV turns negative. So let's do one more problem where we do all of these things. We'll calculate NPV first. We'll chart it out. We'll create a chart and then we'll find out IRR, internal rate of return. So let's do a problem to do that. And for fun purpose, let's say there are multiple cash outflows. We were only considering only one cash outflow. Let's say there are multiple cash outflows. So how to do those problems? So this is like the complex version of everything we have discussed till now. So let's say you are manager of Google, and Google is looking to go into gaming. Okay, look, Google is looking to start into gaming with spending on Stadia. It's a Google platform for gaming. So cost of going full-fledged into gaming like Microsoft and Sony does with Xbox and PlayStation, if Google wants to achieve that kind of platforms and that kind of efficiency, it would have to spend $100 million. Plus, so $100 million right now, plus $2 million each year. $100 million right now plus $2 million each year. Okay, but the benefits would be as follows. So it's a 10-year project. So benefit profile is as follows. So it's a 10-year project. Benefit profile is as follows: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So first year benefit 20 million, then 21 million, 22 million, then 23, 24. Let's change it a bit. 15 million, 16 million, 17 million, 17 million, 17 million, 15, 15, and let's say it's a 7-year project. I don't want to go beyond 7 years. It will be more complex to calculate and all those things. So let's say it's a 7 or 8-year project. We'll add one more year with 17 million. So what is happening? Your manager of Google, CFO of Google, the Stadia team is coming to you and saying that we need to increase the gaming business for Google. So we need $100 million right now plus $2 million each year to maintain that platform. And the benefits are going to be across 8 years as given in the benefit profile. So you are looking to raise $100 million for Google to do this project. So interest rates, that rate of financing can be different. So rate of financing, let's say, starts with 5%, 6%, till 15%. So 6 to 15. So question is, given these details, find out NPV for different rates, find out IRR of this project, internal rate of return. It means the rate at which NPV becomes 0, or other way to look at it, how much rate does the project generate. Now how to do that? So these are the rates given to you. Like always, we create an NPV profile. So NPV cash flows. So we need outflow and inflow. Then we'll calculate PV of outflow at these rates. Then we'll calculate PV of inflow at these rates, and we'll calculate NPV, net present value. So let's create cash flow profile first. What are the outflows? Let's use signs for it. So we don't need signs, like it's better to use signs, but let it be. So 100 million right now. Okay, years are 0, 1, 2, 3 till 8. Okay, and $2 million each year. Okay, inflows for you are 15, 16, 17. It starts with first year, not 0. Okay, so you need NPV. So how to find out NPV? Now the complex part is, initially it was easy because there was only one outflow, but there are multiple outflows right now. So how to do it? So present value of outflow equals 100 as it is. We don't discount 100 because it is happening right away. So we don't have to discount it. But rest of it we have to discount. So NPV, net present value of rest of the outflows. And we'll do it at different rates. So first rate is 5%. Okay. So rate and values. So put rate, put comma, and select everything except 100. 100 we don't discount. Why we don't discount? Because it's already happening right now. Close the bracket. I don't want it in percentage. So it is 112. Okay, this is present value of outflow. What is present value of inflow? It is NPV rate. We have done this before. So it is rate, comma, inflows now. So 15 to 17. Select everything. Okay, it is 104. I'll change outflows a bit because I want a positive number. So let's say year 5 onwards it goes to 25 million. So 25, 25, 25 and 25, these are given to you. Okay, so we have present value of inflow, we have present value of outflow, we need NPV, inflow minus outflow, so 17 million. So let's do it for 6%. How to do it? Present value of outflow, it is 100 as it is plus NPV, net present value, rate 6% now, bracket, sorry, comma, outflows, so 2 and 2. So select all those things with 2. Okay, so 112.42. PV will be NPV, rate 6%, values 15 to 25, 124. So NPV will be 124, inflow minus outflow 12. So next 7%, again 100 as it is plus NPV, rate 7%, comma, all the outflows, because we are calculating present value of outflow. For inflow it is NPV, rate 7%, comma, all inflows. So inflow minus outflow. So I'm not doing it for everything, I'm making certain things constant, which so that I can drag, but you can try it out so that you practice. Okay, so if you calculate it for each interest rates, these would be the profiles and these would be the NPVs, net present values. Okay, so this was NPVs at different rates. Let's draw a chart. So I'm hiding this, left click and hide. We have, sorry, we need rates, so I'm hiding all of this. So rates and NPV, so this is rate and that is NPV. So select this, go to insert, line chart, basic line chart, we'll add data labels. So anything, if your financing is costing almost 9%, so it's not exactly 9%, almost 9% and above, if your financing is costing 9% and above, you shouldn't take this project on. But if you can get financing, if you can finance this project at less than almost 9%, you should accept it, because 17 million, 12 million are net positive benefits. Okay, they're also asking you to calculate IRR. So how to calculate IRR? So for IRR we need an combined cash flow profile. How to do that? So years 0 to 8, okay, 0 to 8, and we need combined. So first let's see what are cash outflows, see out, and what are cash inflows. C in, and what is combined. So outflows will have negative sign. So negative, what was the cost? Total cost 100 million right now, and $2 million each year. So 100 million right now, $2 million each year. What is inflow? Inflow starts happening at year 1, and these are the inflows. Okay, so let's combine them. So 100, then 15 inflow plus 2 outflow, so the total is 13, and 16 minus 2 14, 17 minus 2 15, so on and so forth. So you have a combined cash flow. Now you want to find IRR, internal rate of return. So it is equals IRR bracket open equals IRR bracket open. Click on 100, drag it to 23, click on 100, drag it to 23, close bracket, put on enter. So IRR is somewhere 8.69%. So what is 8.69%? 8.69% is the rate at which NPV becomes 0. 8.69% is the rate at which NPV becomes 0. It is nothing but the rate generated by this project. The rate generated by this project. So when would you accept this project? You would accept this project if cost of financing this project is less than IRR. If cost of financing this project is less than IRR, you would accept this project, otherwise you would reject it. Okay, so we discussed NPV, net present value. Accept the project when NPV is positive, reject the project when NPV is negative. Then we discussed if you have multiple projects, select an NPV which has a higher number. Then we discussed how to calculate NPV, how to create this NPV chart. We created charts for 2 or 3 projects, right? What is this rate? This is the rate at which NPV becomes 0, which is nothing but the rate generated by the project. You will accept the project when cost of financing is less than the calculated rate. Okay. Okay. So let's go back to those slides and cover the PowerPoint, and we have few more things to discuss. Like we discussed NPV and we discussed IRR. So why to use NPV and why not to use IRR? So we'll discuss problems with IRR, and we'll also discuss the payback method and the final profitability index. Okay, so let's start with the PowerPoints. Okay, so what is the NPV rule? When choosing among investments alternatives, takes the alternative with the highest NPV. Choosing this alternative is equivalent to receiving its net present value in cash today. So using the NPV rule, take it or leave it decision. So they have given an example. Resources as Saskatchewan Fertilizers Limited can create a new environmentally friendly fertilizer at a large saving over the company's existing fertilizer. So they are creating a new product. The fertilizer will require a new factory that can be built at a cost of $81.6 billion. Estimated return on the new fertilizer will be 28 million after first year and last for 4 years. So years, it should be million, not okay, billion. Yeah, it is million. Sorry, I misread it. So how is the cash flow looking at? 81.6 million you're spending right now. Year 1 you're getting 28, year 2 you're getting 28, year 3 28, and year 4 28. So how do you find NPV? It is inflows minus outflow. So inflows are 28, 28, 28, 28. We have to discount it by the respective interest rates. and we calculate NPV. We have done it in Excel, so it's little easier. So if you quickly do it, so let's do that actually. So they are saying this is the cash flow profile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it for 4 years? Yeah. So outflow is 86 million, 81.6 million, and inflow is 28 million each year. So we follow our process, that is we calculate present value of outflow and we calculate present value of inflow. So present value of outflow, since it's occurring right now at time 0, it is just that. Present value of inflow, it is NPV. We need interest rate. So interest rate given is 10%. So 10% interest rate, comma, just select these values. So NPV is 88 for inflow, means present value is 88 for inflow, present value of outflow is 86. Net present value is always difference between the two, inflow minus outflow. So it is 7.16, so around 7.2 million. If the company's cost of capital is 10%, the NPV is 7.2 million. They should undertake the investment. So using the NPV rule, we always create an NPV profile. Okay, so we have done this NPV profile stuff. What is an NPV profile? NPV profile depends on cost of capital. So we draw a graph based on interest rates. That's nothing but NPV profile. NPV profile graphs the NPV over range of discount rate. We simply repeat our calculations above using different interest rates other than 10%. So NPV of SFL new project, NPV is positive only for discount rates that are less than 14%, the internal rate of return. So what is internal rate of return? We discussed in the Excel sheet. Internal rate of return is the rate of return at which NPV becomes 0. Anything less than internal rate of return, you should accept the project. Like any financing rate that is less than internal rate of return, you should accept the project. The discount rate that sets the net present value of cash flows equals to 0 is called as investment's internal rate of return. We can also compute the IRR without graphing the NPV by using a financial calculator or spreadsheets IRR function. So alternative rules versus the NPV rules. The NPV rule indicates the SFL should undertake the investment in the fertilizer technology. Sometime other investment rules may give the same answer as NPV, but at other times they may disagree. When there is a conflict, always make your decisions based on NPV. So sometimes IRR has problems. If there are multiple cash outflows and inflows, so outflows and inflows are at multiple intervals, like the signs are changing, then there is a multiple IRR problem. Or sometimes the IRR is inconclusive, right? So when the scale is different, so if one project is costing less, one project is costing more, so then it becomes an issue. So whenever there is a conflict, always follow the NPV rule. So NPV is more important than any other thing. Then there is payback approach. What is payback approach? Based on the notion that opportunity that pays back the initial investment is a good idea, calculate the amount of time it takes to pay back the initial investment. So we call it payback method. Except if the payback period is less than prescribed amount of time. Reject if payback is greater than prescribed amount of time. So we'll see the limitations of payback method too. Assume that SFL company requires all project to have payback of 2 years or less. In this case, should the firm undertake this project? So in order to implement the payback rule, we need to know whether the sum of inflows from the project will exceed the initial investment at the end of 2 years. So if the project has inflows of 28 million per year and initial investment of 81.6. So how to calculate payback? So payback period is nothing but outflow, total outflow divided by inflow. So it is nothing but 81.6 divided by 28. So 2.91 years it takes to recover your investments. So should you accept it? No, because your time was 2 years. So the sum of cash flows from 1 year to 1 year 2 is 56 million. So this will not recover the initial investment of 81.6 because payback is greater than 2 years. The project would be rejected. While simple to compute, the payback rule requires us to use arbitrary cutoff period in summing the cash flows. Further, also note that payback rule does not discount the future cash flows. So discount rate is not considered. So it doesn't consider time element, right? Time value of money. Second, you ignore everything that happens after the payback period. So sometimes the project will not generate any relevant cash flows in the initial years, but the paybacks can be big in the later years. So it ignores that possibility. Instead, it simply sums the cash flows and compares them to cash outflow at present. In this case, the SFL would reject a project that would increase the value of firm. Weakness of payback rule: ignores the time value of money, ignores cash flow after the payback period, lacks a decision criteria that is grounded in economics. Because NPV is grounded in economics. We have discussed in the last chapter. If a company accepts projects that in which the benefits are more than cost, the share value increases, the share price increases. So it is grounded in economics. Payback period is not grounded in economics. Next is internal rate of return. So take any investment opportunities where IRR exceeds the cost of capital. So rule for IRR: if IRR is more than cost of capital, you should accept it. If IRR is less than cost of capital, you should reject it. Weakness of IRR: in most cases, IRR agrees with NPV for standalone projects if all negative cash flows precede the positive cash flows. In other cases, IRR may disagree. So if cash flows are switching from positive, negative, IRR gets confused. So you can't calculate it, right? There are multiple IRRs in that case. So in that case, there is weakness. Example: two competing endorsements are there. You have offer A, simple payment of $1 million, offer B, $500,000 at the end of 3 years. Estimated cost of capital is 10%. So you can calculate NPV 1 million and these are the benefits. So benefits minus cost. So set NPV to 0 and solve for IRR. IRR is 23%. Okay. So 23% is greater than cost of capital. So you should accept the project. However, NPV shows that option B is more benefited. To resolve the conflict, we show the NPV profile. Okay, let's do this problem in an Excel to understand it. What are they saying? Okay, so you have two options. Option 1, $1 million right now. Okay. Option 2, $500,000 each year. Okay, 500,000 each year. And cost of capital they are saying is 10%. So opportunity cost or cost of capital is 10%. So let's calculate NPV first. NPV is outflow. So find out PV of outflow. That is, let's say $1 million is the outflow, and find out, so not OV, it should be PV. And PV of inflows. So if you're giving up $1 million right now to get 500,000 each year, so NPV, rate 10%, and values, these three values. So it is 1.2. So 200,000, 243,000 is NPV. So you should take the second option. According to NPV rule, you should take the second option. Let's calculate IRR for it. Now for IRR, we need to combine these cash flows. So time 0, 1, 2 and 3. It is 1 million here and cash flows are 500,000 each year. Okay. Then we calculate IRR. So IRR is 23%. So if you're looking at IRR, you would accept taking $1 million rather than taking 500,000. If you are looking at NPV, you would accept taking 500,000 because NPV is higher. So in such cases, go with NPV. Okay. For most investments, expenses are upfront and cash is received in future. In this cases, a low interest rate is best. When cash is upfront, a high interest rate is best. There are issues with multiple IRRs. Suppose that cash flows in the previous examples change. The company has agreed to make an additional payment of 600,000 in 10 years. So these are the cash flows, the new timeline. 1 million right now or 500,000 each year for the next 10 years, but 600,000 you have to again pay in 10 years. You can calculate NPV. So this has a multiple IRR problem because what they are saying, you're comparing two options, 1 million right now and 6 million in 10 years versus 500,000 each year for the next 10 years. So in this case, since the cash flows are switching from positive, negative and then back to positive, if you solve it in Excel, you will get multiple IRRs. So because of that, right, NPV is more suggestive because I'll show you. So these are the cash flows we are comparing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 10. Okay. Now option 1 is $1 million here. And $600,000 here. And 500,000 till year 3, sorry. This is option 2. Okay, so we have to combine cash flows to find IRR. So if you combine them, and this happens at not at 0, at end. Okay, if you combine, inflows are positive, outflows are negative. So $1 million you spend, 500,000 you get, then 0, 0, 0 and 600,000 you spend. Now if you calculate an IRR for it, okay, having guess 1, it comes to 14%. Okay, having guess -1, okay, You need to guess the value. It will, yeah. So if you put guess 2, it gives you 5%. So I'll show you. Both of these are IRRs. At both these interest rates, the NPV becomes negative. Guess 1. So both these interest rates are correct answers. So it has a multiple IRR problem. So it's a mathematical concept. When do you get multiple IRR problems? When cash flows are switching. Initially it was negative, it became positive. So you spent, you made money, again you spent. So in such cases where projects have multiple, like they switch signs, the cash flow switch signs, you will get multiple IRR problems. Okay. So that's why bottom line, prefer IRR, prefer NPV vis-a-vis IRR. Mutually exclusive projects that compete with one another. By accepting one, you exclude others. Can't just pick the project with positive NPV. You have to pick projects with highest NPV. So if you have multiple projects, right, which one would you choose? You would choose the project that has highest NPV. So they have given an example. You own a small piece of commercial land near a university. You are considering what to do with it. You have been approached recently with an offer to buy it at 220,000. You are also considering 3 alternatives: a bar, a coffee, a shop, or an apparel store, right, on that land. So you assume that you would operate your choices indefinitely, eventually leaving the business to your children. So there is no time frame. You have collected the following information. So bar requires initial investment of 400,000, but cash flow, it will keep on generating 60,000. Cash flow grows at 3.5%. Cost of capital is 12%. Coffee shop, 200,000 outflow, 40,000 cash flow, growth rate 3%, and cost of capital 10. An apparel store they have given. Now how to solve this? So it doesn't have a time element. So how do you solve NPV when time element is not there? So they have given options like this. Okay. Bar, coffee and apparel, initial investment is given, cash flow is given, and growth rate and cost of capital. So once again, you have to find out present value of outflow and present value of inflow, and then NPV. So what is present value of outflow? Outflow is investments and it is happening right away. So to 400,000, 200,000 and 500,000. These are present values of outflow. What is present value of inflow? How to calculate that? Cash flow in the first year. So this is going back to last chapter. How do you find present value of anything that pays you a constant, it pays you like a dividend kind of a thing every year and it grows it. So I'll write down the formula and then we'll solve it. Present value is cash flow in first year, right? CF1 divided by rate of discount, that is cost of capital, minus growth rate. So R minus G. So formula is CF1, cash flow happening in the first year, divided by R minus G. So if you do that, 60,000 cash flow in year 1, brackets, R 12% minus G, growth rate 3.5%. So this is cash inflow. NPV, how do you calculate? Inflow minus outflow. So 300,000, 305,000 is NPV. For second project, it is cash flow divided by 10% minus 3%. Finally, it is cash flow divided by 13% minus 3%. So drag it down. So these are NPVs. When there are multiple projects, you should accept projects that have highest NPV. So amongst these 3 projects, the highest NPV was opening a coffee shop. So you would open a coffee shop on that land. Okay. So since you can only do one project, you have one piece of land. There are mutually exclusive projects. In order to decide which project is most valuable, you need to rank them by NPV. Each of these projects except selling of land has cash flows that would be valued at growing perpetuity. So formula is CF1 minus R minus G, that is cash flow inflows minus initial investment. So if you do that, 371, 305, 250 and just sell the land 220. So highest NPV is for coffee shop, so you should accept the coffee shop. All of the alternatives have positive NPVs, but you can only take one of them. So you would choose the one that creates the most value. Even though coffee shop has the lowest cash flows, its low startup coupled with lower cost of capital makes it the best choice. Next is sometimes there is differences in scales. So difference in scale, a 10% IRR can have different implications for initial investment of 1 million versus initial investment of 100 million. So if you're earning 10% on $1 million, that is $100,000. But if you're earning 10% on $100 million, that is $10 million. So the scale becomes different. So NPV is a better measure than IRR when scales are different. So they've given an example. If you're putting $10,000 and you're getting $6,000 every year and the interest rate is 12%, the NPV becomes 4. And if you're putting $10,000 and getting $5,000 every year, the NPV, the discount rate is 12%, you get NPV of 2. So by NPV's logic, you should select projects that have higher NPV. But if you do IRR for the first project is 36%. Okay. So based on IRR also, you should select the first project. But things gets complex when the scale changes. So IRR is unaffected by scale. IRR of girlfriends. So example, change in scale, Mark realizes that he can install 5 times the machines that he was. So instead of getting 5,000 each year, he will increase his investment by 5 times and he will increase his cash flow by 5 times. So instead of putting 10 grand, he'll put 50 grand and he will get 25 grand each year. So what happens to NPV? In that case, the NPV goes up. So 50 grand you're putting, 25, 25, 25 you're getting, 10 grand your NPV is changing. But IRR doesn't change. IRR still remains to be 23%. So if you go by IRR, you will select project 1. But if you go by NPV, if you increase the scale, you would select project 2. So bottom line, NPV is a better measure than IRR. Because IRR doesn't get impacted by scale. So if you want to factor the scale of the project, NPV is the better project. Okay. The crossover point is the discount rate that makes NPV of 2 alternatives equal, that is the IRR. We can find discount rate by setting in NPV of each projects equal to each other and solve. At that cross point, the NPV is 0. So you can equate it to 0 and solve, you will get IRR. So it comes to be 20.04. So just as the NPV of project tells us the value impact of taking the project, so the difference of NPV of 2 alternatives tells us incremental impact of choosing one project over other. So what are they saying? That if the scales of projects are different, you should use NPV rather than IRR. Okay. Then choosing between projects timing is important too. Suppose Marek would sell the internet cafe at the end of first year for 40 grand. So if you are using IRR, then it will be a wrong decision because IRR will be very high. But you should not always rely on IRR. You should rely on NPV. So they have given one more example. You are about to sign the contract for server A from table 8.2. So this is the table, like you're spending minus 14 and so it's a spending problem. In each of these cases that we are going to discuss, you're going to spend some money and you're going to spend something on maintenance. So you want a project that the spending is the lowest. Okay. So I'll give you a better example rather than this. So let's say you want a cloud computing platform for your organization, and the major players in cloud are Oracle, IBM, Amazon, and Google. Okay, and you want the cloud platform for the next 5 years. Now Google is the cheapest, so it has a cash outflow of 10 million, but the maintenance cost is higher. Amazon is in between, so it is 11, but maintenance cost is little cheaper. IBM, it's more expensive than Amazon, but maintenance costs falls further down. And Oracle is the cheapest, means it's the most expensive, but it doesn't have much maintenance cost. Okay, so let's say this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what is happening? You're deciding which cloud computing platform should you choose. Google, you're spending $10 right now and $3 every year for the next 4 years, right? Let's say it's million. 10 million right now, 3 million each year for the next 4 years. Amazon, you're spending 11 million right now and $2.8 million each year for the next 4 years. IBM, you're spending 12 million right now and this one, and Oracle, you're spending this one. So which one should you choose? Now how to do these problems? To do these problems, you have to find NPV, but since it is a cost, you have to find NPV that is lowest. When we are looking for profits, we find NPV that is highest, but since it's a cost, we'll find NPV that is lowest. How to do that? First thing, you don't discount. First year you never discount. Why? Because it is happening right now. For next of it, you calculate NPV. Let's say rate is 10%. The cost of financing is 10%. Okay, cost of financing is 10%. So how do you calculate it? Cash flow right now plus, so we are calculating total cost. So flow right now plus NPV at NPV, rate is 10%, values are 1 to 4. Oh boy. Okay, so total cost is $17 here. Let's calculate cost here. $12 initially plus NPV rate 10%, comma these cash flows. Okay, $18 is the cost for this project. Then NPV, sorry, cash flows in time 0 plus NPV for these cash flows at 12% at 10% interest. $19 is the cost of this project, and NPV 10% interest, and these are the cash flows. So 17.74 is the cost of this project. So which one is the lowest? Lowest one is Oracle and followed by Google. So total cost of choosing Oracle is the lowest one and followed by Google. Now what if you find IRR? Let's see what happens with IRR. So if you do IRR, give me an error because this needs to be positive. Now so I'm solving IRR below because we need to change the signs for IRR. So NPV, the choice is clear. First choice goes to Oracle. The first choice goes to Oracle. Second choice goes to Google. Third choice is IBM, and Amazon is the most costly, the total cost. Okay. Now if we do IRR for these things, okay, so I'll just change this to positive cash flows. So IRR for this is 36%, 14%, 1%, and 8%. So you would choose Amazon if you're looking at IRR, then you would choose Google, then you would choose, let's say, IBM, and then you will choose Oracle, which is completely different than NPV. So in such cases, it's better to go with NPV. Whenever costs are involved, just go with NPV. Okay. Next concept is evaluating projects with different lives. Often a company will need to choose between two solutions to the same problem. A compilation arises when two solutions last for different periods of time. One method that is used to evaluate projects that have different life is to compute the equivalent annual annuity for each project, which is the level of annual cash flows with the same present values. Sometimes different investment opportunities demand different amount of particular resources. If there are fixed supply of resources so that you cannot undertake all possible opportunities, simply pick the highest NPV opportunity that might lead to the best decision. So this is important, profitability index. So how to calculate profitability index? So what is profitability index? Suppose you have total budget, you are a CFO, you have total budget of $100 million. And there are different projects that you can finance. Because each department is coming to you for project. So this is cost of project, and let's say this is the NPV of this project which you calculated. Cost of project for project 1 is 20 million, NPV is 30 million. Okay, cost is 30 million here, 15 million here, 40 million here, 45 million here, 50 million here, and 22 million here, and these are the NPVs. Okay, these are the NPVs, these are the cost. Now how do you decide? You don't have an infinite budget. All NPVs are greater than cost. The present value of inflows are greater than cost. So effectively, if you had infinite money, you will accept all of them. But you can't do that. You just have $100 million with you. So how do you do that? So you calculate profitability index. What is profitability index? It is NPV divided by cost. It is NPV divided by cost. So NPV divided by cost. So this is the profitability index. So project 1 gives 1.5 times returns, 2 gives 1.06, 1.3, 1.5, 1.44, 1.56, 1.9. So based on the profitability index, if you have $100 million, how would you allocate money? First, you will choose the project that has highest profitability. So project 7. So this has priority 1, then priority 2, then priority 3 and 3. The highest profitability is actually 3. This is the highest one, not 1.9. So first you will select project 3, then project 7, then project 6, then this is 4th, 5th and 6th. So you would go by this. First $100 million, 15 million spent on project 3, then you will move to project 7, then you will move to project 6. If anything is there, then you will either choose between 1 and 3. Then if you're left with, then you will go to 6th one, right? So you will select projects that have highest profitability index. So they have given an example. Your division, Net IT, a large networking company, has put together a project proposal to develop a new home networking router. The expected NPV of the project is 17.7 million and the project will require 50 software engineers. Net has total 190 engineers available and is unable to hire additional qualified engineers in short run. Therefore, the router project must compete with the following projects for these engineers. So these are the projects, NPV, and these are the engineers. So this is the cost. Engineering, the amount of engineers you require is the cost. It's the resource, right? NPV is the profit. So how do you do that? You calculate profitability index. So NPV divided by cost. So 17.7 divided by 50, 22.7 divided by 47, 8.1 divided by 44, 14 divided by 40, so on and so forth. So the goal is to maximize the total NPV we can create with 190 employees. We can use to determine the profitability index for each project. In the case, since engineers are limited resource, we'll use engineering headcount as denominator. So in the numerator, you have NPV. In the denominator, you have resource. Once you have the profitability index, then we can sort it. So they calculated profitability index. So 22 divided by 47, 22.9 divided by 32, so on and so forth. So highest profitability index is for project A. So you start with project A. Then it is for project F. So you do project F. Then you do project E. Then you do the router project, right? You have 190 engineers. You are almost done with all engineers here. So you will rank projects according to profitability. Start with the highest profitability projects, then go down. We now assign the resources to the project in descending order according to profitability index. The final column shows the cumulative use of resources as each project is taken on until the resource is used up. To maximize NPV within the constraints of 190 employees, Net IT should choose first 4 projects on the list. By ranking projects in terms of NPV per engineer, we find the most value we can create given 190 engineers. There is no other combination of projects that will create more value without using more engineers. This ranking also gives us what engineering constraint cost us. This resource constraint forces IT to forego 3 projects with NPV of 33.6 million. There is shortcoming of profitability index. In some cases, it does not give an accurate answer. When choosing projects based on profitability index, ranking leaves some of the resources unused. It becomes necessary to evaluate all feasible combinations for projects that can be accepted given the resource constraint. The feasible combinations that results in highest NPV is whichever combination you get, you should use that. So that completes this chapter, like investment decisions. So see you in the next class.